Well, Senator Bernie Sanders is seemingly unfazed by the clobbering he got last night by Secretary Clinton. The Sanders campaign already back up on the horse, unveiling the Sanders strategy for going forward. And Sanders is banking on converting Secretary Hillary Clinton's superdelegates. Will that plan work? And how does one convert a superdelegate? And is that Senator Sanders' only path to victory? Former Democratic presidential candidate Dennis Kucinich goes on the record. Nice to see you, sir.
How are you? Good to be with you.
So Secretary Clinton has all these superdelegates. Those are people like from Capitol Hill who have said, we're going to go with you. How does he go about stealing those superdelegates?
It's going to be very difficult because the superdelegates are political insiders who are watching very carefully the election returns, and I think that each successive election has added impact. New York will impact superdelegates. I just want to say, though, Greta, I personally don't think there should be any such thing as superdelegates. I don't think the party insiders should be able to trump the choices that people make in the various states.
All right. So, but in light of the fact of what the Republican Party doesn't have, that Democratic Party does have superdelegates, and in light of the fact that it's very hard to sort of convert superdelegates over now to Bernie Sanders, and of course nobody wants to be converted to the losing side. If Sanders are winning, it'd be much easier to do. Is Sanders finished?
Finished, no, but he's got a very steep climb. It gets each primary is going to be a little bit more difficult. And I think that what he's trying to do right now is to try to make one last push in the remaining states to show that he's got a chance. If his chance depends solely on the superdelegates, it might be very difficult. And on the other hand, if he regains his momentum in places like New Jersey, Maryland, and California, he still has an outside shot. Is the window closing? Yes.
All right. So in the beginning, he had a lot of wind behind his back, a lot of people, a lot of support, everything. But if in the next few primaries he just gets clobbered one right after another, and he doesn't get those superdelegates, and he's got a good bit of delegates, but he limps into the Democratic Party convention, what does he get?
He'll roar into that Democratic Party
even if he's been clobbered a bunch of times?
He'll roar into it because he has a highly motivated base of supporters who are insisting that they be heard through him. He'll be at that convention. The real question is what the tone is, which is set from this point on through the moment when we know who the nominee is.
Will he be able to say to his delegates and his supporters, now is the time to support our nominee, Secretary Clinton? Will he be able to do that, and will they do that?
Well, here's the conundrum. Politicians are famously very flexible. They can turn on a dime. They oppose someone one day, the next day
they say horrible things one day, and then they say the person's great.
Right, next friend, best friend, and big hug. But you know what, though? The constituencies, they aren't as flexible. They're listening closely to all the things that are being said, and they're taking it in, which means that all the attacks on Secretary Clinton right now are still registering, and to undo that later on is going to be a Herculean feat.
Well, and he did say she was unqualified, and I think that was probably a real stinger.
Well, he corrected that somewhat.
Corrected, yeah, right. It's like New York values. It's like Senator Ted Cruz at New York values. Some things are very difficult to recover from, or correct.
Yes,
anyway.
We're looking at I think, though, the Sanders campaign keeps pushing forward as tough as it appears to be.
Congressman, nice to see you, sir.
Okay.